Okay, so the book we're reading for this semester is Awakening the Spine by Vanda Scaravelli. And there are 10 books that I want in everybody's yoga library. And this is one of the 10 that you will purchase and keep for many, many, many years. And if you loan it to somebody, you have to get it back. So the premise of her book is the idea that one of the best things, one of the most beneficial aspects of the yoga practice is how we're going to lengthen and awaken the spine. And Vanda just does a really beautiful job with, there's just very nice pictures and sort of stream of consciousness, the way she writes a little bit. But the best thing about the books is the pictures of her. Vanda Scaravelli started, she's an Italian yogi. She started yoga when she was 40 years old. And there are many beautiful pictures of her. I don't know, I always have to like demonstrate this. In her black tights and black turtleneck with wiry gray hair and beautiful wrinkles. And I used to, I haven't recently, but maybe I should start again, is take pictures of her in a back bend in her little turtleneck. And I would make small enough copies that you guys could put them in your wallets and stuff. Because these pictures were taken probably when Vanda was in her late 80s. So it's just a beautiful inspiration for all of us, kind of a little nice picture of her doing her yoga and how beautiful and graceful and healthy and vibrant she was, and how we can all do that. So the idea of our yoga practice is that we're going to lengthen and awaken our spine, and that's one of the ways that we are going to continue as Vanda to be really healthy in our lives. So I just want everyone to stand up for a minute and just do a very simple demonstration. I want you to bring your feet together as we do, and just kind of bring the arms up loosely and then bring them back down. And again, bring the arms up loosely and bring them back down. One more time just to get the idea here, and bring them back down. Now I want you to ground through your feet, slightly lift the toes, pull all the way up through Mula Bandha. Extend the arms down at your side, and I want you to think of pulling your arms through water. You're down at the bottom of a pool. I want you to inhale the arms wide and reach up as high as you can, and exhale, pull them down through your heart. Inhale wide, push down through the feet as wide as you can, as high as you can, and exhale it down. Good, one more time. Inhale wide, all the way up and down through the spine, and sit down. So obviously we're talking about the spine. What was the difference between the first and the second? Sun salutes. What did you notice?
Focus.
Yeah, definitely changes your focus from just waving your arms around and that. Anything else about the spine? Energy, absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about that more this week, starting tomorrow, about the energy. But yes, there's energy moving through it. And just basic elongation, right? I like that Vanda uses the word awaken. I know it's not very anatomical, you know. But there's something that happens kind of more captured with the word energy when we started pushing down through the feet and reaching our arms up, that you felt not only that elongation, but some energy moving through the spine. So, you know, in yoga we always talk about the nadis. What are the nadis? The energy channels, right? And so in yoga we say there are how many of those in our body? 72,000. It's the number everyone should know if they study at Pacific Ashtanga Yoga Shala, right? There's 72,000. The most important one, if you don't know any of the other nadis, the most important one I want all of you to know for your yoga practice is called Sushumna Nadi. Where is that located? The spine, right? So it runs from the very base of the spine all the way through the crown of the head. That is the most important meridian or nadi that we have that we want to run energy through. So the yoga practice strategically has a yoga breath called Ujjayi breath, and the idea is that there's a movement to it. We say a wind or a vayu, a direction of the prana. So the inhale, what direction is the prana moving on an inhale? You had a 50% chance to get it right. Up. So when you inhale, the prana moves through Sushumna Nadi all the way through the crown of my head. As I exhale, the prana pushes back down to the base of the spine. And the idea is, as we were showing, that we're going to lengthen and get energy moving and kind of waking us up from the inside. Rather than, you know, when we all started our yoga practice, we were waving our arms and our legs around more. I always describe it more like a puppet. You know, we're moving more from our limbs. But as you really advance in your yoga practice and you understand what we're doing, you realize we really move more from that center, that elongation, that breath movement from the center place that starts in Muladhara and moves around, right? So what I want you guys to think of is exactly what we did standing should be how we do every standing pose. So I was using Utthita Trikonasana as example only because sometimes I feel sorry for Utthita Trikonasana because it's never on the front of Yoga Journal magazine. Why? It's not that exciting. So what happens in all the standing poses, and we want that same elongation, right? What I notice a lot of times in people's practice is no matter where your flexibility is something like this happens. And I'm just talking about my spine right now, or the spine. So what's happening? What's the problem here? Right, so you notice my energy's kind of going down this direction. So, and again, I don't have to take my toe. Maybe I'm just going to bring my hand here. I'm going to do that same lengthening in the spine from the very base of my spine. It has to travel then through the crown of my head. The neck is long for that to happen, rather than this. I've lost it. It kind of went dead through here. All of the standing poses, right? And then the cool thing about the Ashtanga practice is we add vinyasa to add to that physical and energetic benefit to it, this movement we have. So let's just say Paschimottanasana A. The way we come into the pose is from standing, right? So we inhale, and then we exhale, and then we inhale, and then we exhale. Oops. The idea is we want to take from the base of the spine and reach all the way through the crown of the head. So if you're really getting the full benefit for the vinyasa, it should be Muladhara all the way through the crown. I grew it long, just like when I wave my arms around. And when I exhale, I take that length all the way forward into the pose. And then I have one more vinyasa, right? So I have another chance to get that elongation, that long spine from the base all the way through the crown that I take into the asana for 4 breaths. Then how do I exit? Same thing, I inhale, elongation of the spine. Exhale, I keep that elongation of the spine. Inhale, I come all the way up. And remember, we're going to reach through the crown of the head to really complete that. So I just need someone to demo. So Allegra, let's use you. I think I used you last time, so you know what you're doing. So we're going to do Paschimottanasana, and I want you to watch your spine. There's a lot of things we can talk about, but mainly we're going to talk about the spine. So in Paschimottanasana, we have Sapta position. We're doing, this is what we don't want you to do first, and then Paschimottanasana. So again, if we're looking at what's happening in the spine, her spine is completely rounded, and it's dead. So now she's going to do good Paschimottanasana. So Sapta position really sets up the spine. So this is what I want you guys to all see, that we're going to actually use this in standing poses as well. So Paschimottanasana, she starts with her feet active. The arms are really activated by pulling the shoulders back, so the legs are active, strong in the front, lengthening in the back. This is what I want all of you to see, and I can't adjust you all today like this, but I want you to imagine that I am. I have my hand on your lower back. I'm hypnotizing everybody right now. I have my hand on your lower back. I'm pulling it up. And when I pull my hand up, it elongates the back of your spine, all the way through the crown of the head. Then I take my hand and I lovingly, as only a yoga teacher could do, put it right in your stomach and hollow it, like carving a pumpkin. And then I lovingly put my hand right under your chest. And this is an important part. I'm going to lift that middle part of your spine from the front, from right below your chest. I'm going to lift it up and lift all the way through the spine, through the crown of the head. So you can just see, looking at Allegra now, just in Sapta position, how alive and activated her spine is, from the very lowest part pulling in through this. What happens a lot of time is our mid-back is just dead. There's not a lot of energy. There's not a lot of movement. It's kind of a little bit stagnant, right? So we want to, as we progress in our practice, really articulate things more from the inside rather than the outside. So more advanced in your practice, you can feel yourself pick up through here and lengthen from the inside all the way through here, through the crown of the head. Then she goes into Paschimottanasana, and a lot of beautiful things are happening here. She's using her arms to activate the spine. The feet are very active. She's got the energy moving all the way through the crown of the head. Pada Drishti serves her here, and she just keeps that beautiful line of energy. Thank you. So I always say when I practice on Wednesday with the class, I do primary series with the class, and if you guys ever practice next to me, I can come into a forward fold about here, but I never do. I never do because I would lose so much in that. So when I do my forward folds, if you ever practice next to me, I'm usually about here because this is where I can get the most activity and the most benefit. And that's what we always have to think of. You know, we've been talking about that in our practice. So like, you know, yoga's meant to benefit the energetic body, the physical body, the spiritual body. So we have to constantly check in with what we're doing. So today, throughout the practice, I want you guys to really think of my loving hand at your lower back pulling up. You guys even try this now just for a second. At the same time, the second hand comes and pulls the belly in, equally as loving. Then right from below this chest area, lengthening this out. So you want to feel like you're pulling up rather than forward, you know, as you come into these poses. And again, the prana today, it's going to be inhale, move the prana up, exhale, moving the prana down. Samasthiti.